Okay. Call to order, Bedford Township Board meeting, June 3rd, 2025, 7 p.m. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If Pastor Josh Hollinger from Bridgepoint Church could approach and lead us in prayer.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we humbly come before you today, just with hearts of gratitude. Thank you so much for blessing our country, for blessing our state, our county, our township. God, I pray over the leaders of our country, whether that be President Trump or Vice President Vance, all of our leaders in Congress, and our governor, Gretchen Whitmer, and our local government. God, I pray that all of them will be making decisions that are honoring to your name, that help the United States of America. I pray that you keep our country safe. I pray that you keep our country strong. I pray that you empower our churches, empower our police officers, our fire department, our nurses. God, I just pray that you strengthen this country and that this country is making decisions that glorify you. And I especially pray for Bedford Township and the decisions that are made here, that these decisions are made for the good of the people, and that you will just continue blessing this great country. We pray these things in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Thank you. Next, we move on to the public hearing. I will need to make a motion to open the public hearing to request for approval of the fiscal year 2026 general fund budget, and B, request for approval of the fiscal year 2026 other funds budget.
Motion to open the public hearing on both.
Support.
Take the roll, Ms. Hirschberger.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Motion carries. Now we can move into the... Right. Is there any public comments in regards to the general fund budget or other funds budget?
Gail Kane, Temperance. I looked right over that. Didn't even realize there was a public hearing. It wasn't listed as a separate item. Okay. The questions I have, and of course I'm not knowledgeable, that's not my expertise, but I had a lot of questions when I went over it. And to me, it would be a benefit to have a different setup for the spreadsheet. I mean, I realized what we saw in the packet was not necessarily a spreadsheet. You had your revenues on one page and expenditures on another, and the departments were scattered hither and thither. You had voter issues on one spot and then election things over on another page and a different one. And to me, it would be a better understanding, at least for those of us that are not money people, to be able to see that so that we could see that going back and forth, the revenues and the intakes. I didn't see any mention of parks, even though I know they're in the CIP because they keep taking things out of that and using it to pay for other things. The gazebos is what I'm referencing. There are two areas of difference for the DDA. It's not listed as one entity. There was, I believe, a construction portion of it and then another portion for the DDA. The trustees, I noted that they did not take their raise, yet it shows an increase from last year to this year. There's a transit fund. Is that the LET millage that's been put to bed and just sitting there? If it is, it shows money was spent. And I'm trying to figure out, even though it's like $55 or something, what that is all about. I would think that maybe there's a way that millage money could get turned back to the voters. There was a lot of questions with the ARPA monies, what is spent, where it's been spent, and how much is still left. That's basically all I had. I would have done a 5-minute dissertation had I realized it was actually a public hearing. All righty, thank you.
Further comments?
Josh Niederkor, 7948 Wiseman Road, Lambertville. Comment on the budget here. So I'm looking at where it says Parks and Recreation Department, Fund 751. So there's 3 columns here for the past 2 fiscal years and this coming one. So under fiscal year 2024, Parks and Recreation had $305,409. 2025, $253,985. And proposed for 2026 is $252,302. So I'm just wondering, like, why is the park recreation money starting to dwindle and $1,000 less for this new coming year compared to this previous year that's now passing? So we have things we need to get done at the parks. I know the playscapes are right now the hot topic right now as far as making sure money's set aside, but if we're getting less money, how is that helping us?
Any further comments from the public? Seeing none? Bring up Bob. Need a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion to close public hearing.
Support.
Ms. Hirschberger, please take the roll.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek? Aye. Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. Does the board have questions? Bob?
I will touch on what Ms. Keene brought up, especially with the township trustees' wages going up. What was that all about?
I'll go ahead and I'll look into that. Let me pull everything up. Oh, is this working? I will look into that and give me one moment to pull this up and I'll get you that. Trustee salaries did not go up. They stayed the same. 52,000.
And on our sheet here, expenditures by activity, Department 101, Township Trustees, it goes from 6716 for fiscal year 2024 to 64,150 in 2025.
And then budgeted for 2026 is 63,800. So 3 different numbers.
Yes. Can you see the items on your screen in front of you?
Yes.
You'll see there was a decrease in insurance, decrease in legal fees. There was an increase in contracted services. Contracted services is the amount that we pay to print your paychecks. There was a small increase in per diems and accrued wages. There was a small increase from the prior year. Accrued wages is the amount of time from the last pay period to the beginning of the next fiscal year, and there was an extra day compared to last year.
So this isn't our pay, this is a process of getting us paid and everything that goes into that.
Yes, your pay has stayed the same.
Okay.
Further questions? Go ahead, Bob, if you want to take us through.
Thank you. Well, thank you for having me. I am going to start, everything will be on your screen and on the main TVs. It'll be page 6 and the paper copy. Expenditures. The following chart is a summary of the top expenditure categories of the township for 2026. The sewer plant is by far our largest expense, followed by fire, police, and then general fund wages. Fund activity. The $400,000 will be transferred to the Township Improvement Revolving Fund. This is the CIP, and it'll include a listing of long-term infrastructure assets. $630,000 will be transferred to the Capital Asset Revolving Fund. That'll be for the short-term projects, such as the pickleball courts, police vehicles, IT equipment, and other projects. The Downtown Development Authority has allocated about $1.3 million for the installation of mast arm traffic signals at Quail Hollow and Stearns and Quail Hollow and Secor, including sidewalk, ramp, curb driveway repair at each location. The library will be using their capital outlay funding to install an EV charging station and upgrade the kitchen. Grants may be available for the EV charging stations. There is also possible concrete work and solar panels. Two major road projects will include Erie Road for $372,000 and Crab Road for $125,000. The Park Commission will use their assigned funds of $179,872 from prior years and an additional $136,000 from the general fund to improve the pickleball courts at Carsgrove Park. Additionally, $230,000 will be transferred from the general fund to the Township Improvement Revolving Fund for other park projects. Finally, the Township has begun construction on a maintenance building to be located behind the Township Hall. The initial cost estimate was $3.1 million, of which $2.7 million will be drawn from the ARPA funds, with the remainder coming from the Capital Asset Revolving Fund. Next page would be page 8, outstanding long-term debt. We have two debts outstanding, the Fire Station 1 renovation and the sewer plant. We were able to pay off the Township Hall and the ladder truck. Bedford Township history, which will start on page 10. For this, I'd like to thank Angie for putting this together. And the sources for this information came from a book from Don Adams, a book from Trudy Urbani, that's her pronounce, and Phil Dale. Next will be page 38. Talk about the capital improvement plan. The capital improvement plan is the schedule of the long-term infrastructure projects. For fiscal year 2026, some of the items on there are Carsgrove Pavilion, Samaria Park Gazebo, Carsgrove Gazebo, White Park, possibly a basketball court, sidewalk, ADA accessibility, and some work done at the old maintenance garage, or the current maintenance garage. And next fiscal year, Carsgrove Playscape, White Park tennis court repair. Fund 447, which is the Capital Asset Revolving Fund. Got a lot going on in 2026. We're going to finish up the maintenance building, some solar stop signs, some township signs, some IT equipment, the Township Hall repairing the main floor, parking lot out front, ordinance vehicle, buildings and grounds truck, installation of the water fountains, Carsgrove's picnic tables, and the pickleball courts. Next year, some of the items on the list are some computer equipment, assessing vehicle, ordnance vehicle, mini excavator, some new mowers, Carsgrove's fencing, White Park fencing. I'm not sure why the paper folder's on there, but a paper folder and emergency equipment. Any questions?
The EV charging station at the library, is that going to generate revenue for the township?
I don't know exactly how that's going to work, but they will be charging a fee. That might be something Al can address.
I don't know anything about EV charging stations. If we're putting one in, I want to make sure that it's going to generate revenue, or we don't put it in.
Yeah, no, it's all, you pay for it. There's no freebies.
And
Correct, I know they pay for it, but are we going to get something?
Yeah, it's our revenue.
It's our revenue.
It's our revenue.
just because it's in the budget, though, doesn't necessarily mean we have to move forward with it, right? If we get bids, and it can be for
Right,
anything, not
right,
just the
exactly.
solar
Or we might be, you know, and
charging.
consumers' attitudes changes like the wind at times, because sometimes they're on to like, hey, let's put these in apartments, and then they'll do a wave of money for apartments, and then they'll like, oh, let's go do commercials. So it just depends too, like if we hit consumers might say, okay, like Erie, they picked up, I think, like 70 grand for EV chargers, so theirs didn't cost them anything. So, yeah, so there won't be any, that's our revenue.
Are you continuing with the presentation, or can we open it up to general questions, or how are we doing this?
Yeah, I'm done with my presentation.
Okay. Bob, how are we looking on, I know we've made a lot of strides on the capital improvement plan. How are we looking like down the road, 10 years, 15 years? Are you feeling pretty confident about where we're at?
Yes, we have a great plan, but of course, our eyes are bigger than what we can afford. But we have everything on the plan that we can identify. We just have to every year, keep going through it, verifying, yes, this is what we really need versus what we want, and the timelines are correct.
I would like to thank Jody and Katrina and yourself and the Planning Commission for all the work you do on the capital improvement plan. We've come a long ways from going from zero to where we're at now over the last several years. It was a little bit of a rough start because we never had one. So I appreciate your efforts.
Thank you.
Excuse me, I need a motion to approve the fiscal year 2026 general fund budget.
I'll make a motion to approve fiscal year 2026 general fund budget.
Support.
Ms. Hirschberger, please take the roll. Oh, any questions? We good? Okay.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye. Motion carries. B, request for approval of the fiscal year 2026 other funds budget. Need a motion?
I'll also make that motion to request the approval of the fiscal year 2026 other funds budget.
Support.
Discussion? Seeing none, please take the roll, Ms. Hirschberger.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye. Motion carries. Next is the approval of the agenda. I need to add, and it will be 8G. It is the cost for White Park for the repair on a playscape. Need a motion to approve the agenda?
Make the motion to approve tonight's agenda as amended.
Support.
Any further discussion? Please take the roll, Ms. Hirschberger.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. Number 3, consent agenda. Agenda committee recommends to approve and place on file A, minutes from the May 20th, 2025 regular meeting of the Bedford Township Board. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Support.
Any further discussion?
Supported.
Supported?
Supported. Okay.
Oh, did, okay. Please take the roll, Ms. Hirschberger.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Gore? Aye. Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. Number 4, there are no presentations. Number 5, public comment. Comments limited to 5 minutes for board agenda items only. Please state which agenda item you will be speaking on.
Gail Kane, Temperance. Let's start with, now I'm all goofed up here. Number C, which would be 8C is the ones I'm referring to. Concerns with the allowance in order to build something that is out of character for a platted subdivision. The concern with this is that we're going to combine a lot, which is not the problem, but the approval is to imply approval for the intentions, which is to put up a huge pole barn. It's still a subdivision zoning. So the question is that they would be building something that is out of character for the neighborhood. So planning's had an awful lot of issues with these people coming in and wanting to plot these buildings in these subdivision lots, and they're tall, and I do know that they've had some changes in their current zoning ordinance for that, but it's still that factor that if somebody was to buy the house next door, tear it down, and now they got a lot of property and they're putting up buildings, I mean, it's almost as bad looking as what we got in the back here. That's just out of character for the neighborhood. D, as far as the ordinance officer's request, I find it rather outlandish. To begin with, to give him a brand new vehicle, an extended cab yet to boot, so it's a big fancy one. We need to take stock of what vehicles we have. I counted 6 police cars parked out here. We have 1 white car that's a township car. We have several black cars. We have the black one that is in the, 2 of them now sitting in the parking lot. They don't work at the same time. Assessing is driving a huge Suburban vehicle when that person could be in a car. There's no reason for her to be driving around in a big Suburban. The ordinance is not a police department, despite what they would like to be. They already dress as if they're ready for a tactical maneuver someplace here in the township. The signs, I request, they don't do anything unless somebody files a complaint, and I request 3 times a year in conjunction with the Adopt a Road program for them to pick up signs. We know they don't do political signs at all. They have nothing to do with that. I have 35 groups of people with mixed ages that literally walk the roadsides to pick up trash. They don't need bars on cars to do that. There's no reason these ordinance officers can't pull into a parking lot or pull into a residential drive, walk to the corner, pull the signs, and go back to their car. If they're physically not able to do this, they don't deserve to have the job. I mean, really, people, just the cost of it is ridiculous. And there's no reason for them to have a brand new vehicle like that, not when we have other vehicles sitting in our parking lots. The reason that they can't use their 4-ways, you pull up and you stop. We have people taking milkweed out of ditches that are using their own personal cars. They just pull over, put their 4-ways on, and go pluck what they need to do to save their butterflies, and off they go. It's the impression that this ordinance department wants to continue to play police officer when that's not what we should be conveying. Again, these are ordinance officers. They don't go out unless they're supposed to have a complaint to go with it, unless we change the rules. So I just feel that this is a real waste of the taxpayers' money. And then for E, if we pay a fee to SEMCOG, and the request for the traffic study is SEMCOG's doing and not ours at all. We had no role in asking for this study. Why are we having to pay? I could understand if Bedford Township went to the SEMCOG meeting, and I suppose we're going to have to backtrack on this, and asked for this study for some purpose within the DDA, then it would make sense. But if this is SEMCOG's study, why are we having to pay when we already pay a fee to belong? This is supposed to be a benefit. And as far as the budget and stuff, I understood from a planning meeting that the CIP fell short for this year. And so that was another concern I had, that, hopefully they get this straightened out. But that was discussed at planning, so. And I know planning's working hard on trying to understand that CIP process altogether. I've been attending those meetings. That's it. Thank you.
Further comment?
Josh Nienercore, 7948 Wiseman Road, Lambertville. A few things. One, how long are you expecting this new truck for the ordinance department to be able to last for service life? Two, this study on Stearns Road, I know like our infrastructure isn't like where it should be. I mean, our infrastructure, like these 2-lane roads with all these subdivisions, yeah, it was more like pre-1980s, but why aren't they doing it from Douglas all the way to the eastern edge of the township line? Just wondering why not do the whole road. And then third, I'm not sure what these repairs are at White Park. I was not notified of something needing attention, so must not have gotten the email. Just let me know what it is. Thanks.
Further comment?
Marvin Walentowski, 2040 Smith Road, Temperance. I am the owner of number 8C. It is not a newer subdivision. The house was built in 1890. It's the old barn house by Smith and Summerfield. It's not going to be a huge pole barn. It's going to be a small portion compared to the size of my home. It's going to be 2.4 acres. I'm not asking for any variances in building my barn. It's all going to be within the specs of the township. I hope you approve it. Thank you.
Further comment? Seeing none, we'll be moving on. There are no staff reports. Unfinished, none. New business, vouchers for payment, Ms. Hirschberger.
I'd like to make a motion that the following vouchers be approved for payment. General Fund, $31,810.96. Fire Fund, $5,607.91. Fire Equipment, $3,243.21. Downtown Development, $4.23. Library Fund, $6,212.29. American Rescue Plan, $4,785.96. Capital Asset Revolving Fund, $24,800. Building Department, $4,329.75. Sewer O&M, $204.88. Trust and Agency, $264, for a grand total of $81,263.19.
Support.
Any further discussion? Please take the roll, Ms. Hirschberger.
Trigger votes aye. Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. Next, we have 8B, approved tax millage resolutions for the 2025 tax roll. This will require 5 resolutions.
Need motion.
So we're going to need a motion on the first one, the general operating levy.
If there's no questions, I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve the millage rate for the general operating levy of .7596 mils as presented to be levied on the 2025 winter tax roll.
Second.
Any further discussion? Please take the roll, Ms. Hirschberger.
Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Gore? Aye. Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. Next, we will need the fire operating levy. I need a motion.
Make a motion to approve the millage rate for the fire operating levy of 1.7230 mils as presented to be levied on the 2025 winter tax roll.
Support.
Further discussion? Joe? Craig supported. See no further discussion? Please take the roll.
Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. Next, fire equipment. I need a motion.
Make a motion to approve the millage rate for the fire equipment levy of .4862 mils as presented to be levied on the 2025 winter tax roll.
Support.
Seeing support. Any further discussion? Please take the roll.
Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. Next, I need a motion for the library.
Make a motion to approve the millage rate for the library levy of .2430 mils as presented to be levied on the 2025 winter tax roll.
Support.
Ms. Josh, any further discussion? Please take the roll, Ms. Hirschberger.
Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries.
For aye.
We still have the police one to do.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I missed one, the police one. I'm looking at mine going,
Oh, did I? Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
All right.
Okay, need a motion for the police levy.
I'll make a motion to approve the millage rate for the police levy of .3834 mils as presented to be levied on the 2025 winter tax roll.
Support. Further discussion? Seeing none, please take the roll, Ms. Hirschberger.
Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. I think we're good now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Next is 8C, request to combine two properties in a platted subdivision, parcel numbers 02-250-079-00 and 02-250-080-00. Phil, could you take this since we had a discussion with you on this?
Sure. I'd be happy to. So this request is required by our ordinance to come to the Township Board for approval. These are two platted subdivision lots, and it starts at the assessor's office. You've got a memo from Teresa Vitale regarding this, and what will happen if this is approved by the board, these two lots will be combined. There will be a restriction placed on the deed that will combine these two lots, that these lots cannot be severed except by action of the Township Board. And the reason for that is that we're combining two lots, and on one lot, a pole building will be constructed. And as you all know, you can't have a pole building on a subdivision lot without a primary residential dwelling unit situated thereon. So lots will be combined. The deed will be recorded. Those lots cannot be severed except by approval of the Township Board. And so in essence, we'll have, for both tax purposes, we'll have one property identification number with a restriction on the deed that the properties cannot be severed. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. But this is in a platted subdivision, so if it were a meets and bounds property, we would do it differently. We can't, well, we don't want to, nor does the property owner want to go through the arduous process of revising or amending the plat. So that's why we combine lots when asked to do this. I'm happy to hear from the owner that he will not be requesting a variance from the Board of Zoning Appeals to do anything other than what is allowed within that zoning district, which would be to build or erect an accessory building, which will be accessory to the home after the lots are combined. Any questions?
So if he builds this and he goes sell it, he's got to sell everything.
Got to sell everything. He could come back and ask the township to sever the combination, but the only reason the township would ever consider doing that is if there were to be built a residential dwelling unit on the lot with the barn, and that would require sufficient area to build a home on that lot. But you're right, Al, he'd have to sell it all as, in essence, one lot.
You could demo the barn, too.
Could demo it. Yeah, he could demo it if he wanted to, and then ask the township to sell as a separate platted subdivision lot.
So too, if you take a look at the paperwork, we've got a lot of weird platted subdivisions. Like this is from 1916. So this isn't like, Hidden Valley or some other subdivision, that we're involving. Any further questions of Phil? I need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion, we approve the request to combine two properties in a platted subdivision 02-250-079-00 and 02-250-080-00.
Support.
Support.
Would, Mr. Bruning, would you consider making it part of your motion that a deed will need to be executed by the owner of all lots with a restriction that the lots cannot be sold separately?
I will accept that friendly amendment as well.
Any further discussion? You had a second, I believe? Okay. Can you take the roll, Ms. Hirschberg?
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Trigger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. Okay, on to 8D, approved purchase of a 2025 Ford Maverick for the Ordnance Department. I'll take this. To clarify, we don't own a Suburban. Police Department has a Tahoe they use. So our assessing department is using an old Ford Explorer. I believe it's the 2020. The problem that we have with the sheriff's vehicles when we get them, we have problems with transmissions. We have problems in terms of catalytic converters. Trudy did a study, I think it was the 2020, wasn't it? On one of them. We have $15,000 in repair in one vehicle. These things are junk, quite honestly, by the time we get them. And it's nothing against the sheriff's department. They're on running 7 days a week, 24 hours a day sometimes. They get used and they get beat, okay? The truck that we're currently using in ordinance was passed down from the building department. It's 14 years old. I looked underneath it today. It's rusting out. The compression is terrible. We have engine leaks. It's not worth putting more money into this truck, okay? And that has been a problem that I've seen over the last 8 years. As we use these vehicles till they about absolutely die or we get so much money in them, it's like we can't hardly get anything for them. You know, you look at the sheriff's department or the road commission, they're always turning their vehicles. Now, I'm not suggesting that, hey, we run out and we get new vehicles every 2 or 3 years. What I am looking at is a Ford Maverick. It does have the bed in the back. You can't get an extended cab for a Maverick because they all come with 4 doors, and they're small. They're all-wheel drive, and they're pretty economical. I believe that vehicle, if we take care of it, because Pat does take care of the vehicles, we get them serviced when they need to and so on, that's why they last as long as they do. But I think we could get 10 years out of this vehicle. It will be purchased on a Michigan My Deal, which we get the best pricing because it's on a contract. The vehicles that we have sitting around, I wouldn't have any of you drive one of them because it doesn't have any brakes. Okay, that's sitting out there. The other one has transmission problems. We got 2 sitting over at the maintenance garage. Probably the best car we have is the old Crown Vic, believe it or not. And those things are iron. And I don't even know if we're going to sell that one. That one we might just keep in reserve. So the ordinance is not driving brand new cars and so on. So my idea also with ordinance in this vehicle, and the light bar, the reason why we're having that is for safety. So what we're going to try and do, Damon has already gone down to 20 hours, okay, because of retirement. James Eaton is going to go down to 20 hours, okay? So that's going to free up another 20 hours, 22 hours that I want to get another ordinance officer, okay? Which I don't know how I'm going to do it or how we're going to schedule. Like, I'd like to have maybe a couple Saturdays a month. And also, while they're out, we could do sign sweeps like on a Saturday. Send the person out. We have the phone forwarded over into their cell phone. So if we get a call, because Todd had mentioned this and had asked if we were going to ever do that. And I can tell you this, we used to get Saturday calls, whether it was illegal burns or somebody panicking because the neighbor's putting a fence on their property. You know, we were able to head some things off. So when I look at these vehicles, this township, I mean, before we had dump trucks that were 30 years old. They should have been sent down to Henry Ford museum because they were antiques. So when I looked at the Maverick and comparatively, the Ford Ranger, we don't need a truck. You take a look at the cars. You don't want to be pumping or popping open the trunk, throwing signs in there. So the Maverick really was like the best option for ordinance. So that's kind of my game plan in terms of ordinance, is to have the three.
Does anyone even make a car anymore?
Kind of hard to find.
Ford doesn't make a car
I
anymore.
mean, you know, and trucks are pretty expensive. I mean, you know, even like a basic Ford F-150. And there's nothing like out there like the Maverick unless you go into a foreign Santa Cruz, which I think that's made by Hyundai or whatever. So, but I can tell you this, we try and utilize those sheriff's vehicles, and they just are not good vehicles once we get them. I wish they were. I wish they didn't have a ton of miles on them. But it seems like every time we get them, we got to haul them down to Brondy's or somewhere. And so that's why we took a look at doing this for the ordinance department, so they'd have at least one really good vehicle. Any questions or?
Oh, you hurt my feelings with all the sheriff's department talking, beating up cars.
I know, it's like,
man, about ready.
Oh, I wish I had better news for you.
Man.
I don't know. How many cars did the sheriff department crash last year? 2 or 3?
Oh, yeah.
It happens. It happens.
Yeah.
We will not confirm or deny that has happened with me
Right.
in my time, but
we are working on a plan with that with Troy. So
what my concern is with the Maverick, it's a newer truck. It's only been out for a few years now.
Couple years.
Yeah. The life expectancy, we know on an F-150, they're good, solid trucks that you can get many years out of. I just don't know with a smaller truck with a smaller engine and how long a Maverick's going to last. I mean, before we got to put money into it. Saying 10 years, you know, you could probably get a lot longer out of an F-150 or something, but I also know that the cost effective, you know, with the F-150, it's going to be more in fuel and more to insure and everything like that. I do have a concern about it's just such a small vehicle. I mean, it's no bigger than a car.
Right, just the way it's designed.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I'm small and I would feel claustrophobic in that thing.
Well, as Damon gets older, he'll shrink a little. So. But I did look at the Ford F-150s on the Michigan My Plan, and the problem is they start jumping up to like 44, 45 grand. You know, if it was like a couple thousand, it wouldn't be so bad.
Right.
It's even like the Ranger. I looked at the Ranger, and that jumped up like $7 grand. And I was like, wow, is that really, you know? I get what you're saying, Joe, because, I mean, that Ford F-150 we got lasted 14 years.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, we could try it. We could watch it. If it doesn't work out, we could always sell it.
I'm assuming some of these other cars, are we just going to junk them, scrap them, put them out there?
We're going to put them out for bid.
See what
on
we can get.
gov.com is one site that Troy's recommended to me. He's had some good luck selling the cars. And, we're definitely going to put them out for bid. I might keep the Crown Vic just as like a spare, because that's like the better one.
Crown Vic's good car, but that Chevy Caprice with the LT1 was better.
Was that pretty? A little juice in there, huh?
Yeah, you bet.
How many cars do we have? I mean, it doesn't have to be 7, 8, 6, 5. I mean, I don't know how many we have.
We got 1,
Top of your
2.
head.
Got 1, 2. There's 3, 4, 5. I think we got like 7.
So 7. How many of those came from the sheriff's department? Off the top of your head, again, doesn't have to be exact.
All but
Do
one.
we always
All but one.
Okay. Is that going to be the process moving forward, that we continue to move on or move with the sheriff's department after they are ranked?
I would sell every single one of them as soon as you get them, because they're just, unless there was something that, because I'm even getting reports about the Tahoes not really holding up as well either. You know, they just don't make some of the cars like.
Well, but you
built
mentioned,
before.
you know, some of them are ran 24/7, and it's not an exaggeration, right? With the
Yeah, some of them are, I mean,
with the equipment that they have in there, they have
yes,
to keep on.
they're running 24/7. Some aren't, but quite a few are.
Okay,
You know, and we have 3 shifts, so.
It's 24/7, 365, you know, department.
Exactly. Like I said, if they were great cars, we'd keep them. We wouldn't even be having this discussion.
Yeah.
But there's not one that hasn't had to have something major to it.
I just didn't know what I guess your thoughts are moving forward with, hey, we're just done getting those from the sheriff's department and we're just going to go new, we're going to go leasing, we're not going to go leasing. I was just.
When we get the Tahoes, I'll get them evaluated, then we can take a look at it. I mean, if there's one that's running smooth and it's really good, yeah, it'd be wise for us to keep one. But if it's anything like some of the ones we've gotten, I say you ship them right down the road, get rid of them. Any other questions?
And real quick, the fund, it says it's coming from fund number 447000970. What fund is that?
Good question, Bob. Can you give me the title?
Yes, that's the Fund 447, Capital Asset Replacement Fund.
All right.
Which we had that money set aside for this.
All right.
What a concept. What a concept.
Yeah. Any further discussion? Seeing none, if I could get a motion.
Make a motion that we approve the purchase of a 2025 Ford Maverick XL all-wheel drive from Gorno Ford using the MI deal and the delivered price of $30,688, and that'll come out of the Capital Asset Replacement Fund number 4470009700014.
You have to add the light bar to it also.
And we'll include the light bar not to exceed $2,900.
Oh, no, not to exceed like 600. We
says-
got a quote. Since that, I sent out a memo. Yeah, so we got
Okay,
one.
not to exceed 600.
Yeah, we got a little mini one that'll work.
To my real one now.
Yep.
I'll support.
Further discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Hirschberger, take the roll.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye. Motion carries. We're on to 8E, approved traffic study to be conducted by Southeastern Michigan Council of Governments. I'll take that one also. We were approached by SEMCOG, and so was Whiteford. They called us up and said, look, we still have money that is available. We've identified some stretches of road that I think would be good for a traffic study. And they wanted to combine us to go all the way to 23, because we know that's a major artery. This is not just about the DDA. This is going all the way from Douglas to 23 for the two townships. So the study is roughly $25,000. So they asked if each one of us would put in $2,500 to do this. I was asked later, how much would it cost to extend the study going all the way from Jackman to 23? And they said that could be an additional cost to us, anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000. And the traffic study, what that is going to help us also look at too, everybody keeps asking for the sidewalks, connectivity, exactly what do we need to deal with on Stearns Road. We know that it's not perfect on Stearns Road, but we need to look at that whole stretch of Stearns going to 23. So when they approached us, Whiteford has already approved their share. Jeff thought it was a good idea. They came in, they gave a great presentation in terms of the Y4s, and they identified that. We didn't like pick it out of a hat and say, oh yeah, can you just do this or whatever. So their planners came to us. We think it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea in terms that we do that. That road is only going to get busier. We're not going to have less traffic, folks, in terms of it. And especially as more things pop up. I mean, if you take a look at Whiteford, they got their new park. That's drawing more traffic over to their new park over at Stoneco. Okay? We still got trucks going down there. We do have the DDA. But we also have, in terms, stuff coming all the way, from Lewis going straight down Stearns. It's a major artery in this township.
I think in that last sentence, it says that SEMCOG advises it will be good to have the study to apply for future grants when available. I think that's huge too, because obviously you're going to always look for grants, hopefully. And so having that on the table when we do go apply, I think is going to be very helpful.
Right.
So my issue is a couple. First of all, the solution's easy. We got to stop building. I mean, every square inch of Stearns Road has got something on it, and we're adding more. Just like we denied the Dunkin' Donuts and all that on Secor Road simply because it's too congested. I have very good friends that live on Stearns Road, and there's times where they will have to turn right out of their driveway and not left because of the amount of traffic. We all know that. There's not a person in this township that doesn't know that. Solution's going to be either widen it or put a turn lane in. The astronomical amount of money that's going to cost, wouldn't even be in our future for many, many years. I know it's only $2,500, but for me, if SEMCOG wants it and they want to look for additional solutions, I can give them to widen it or put a turn lane in. Okay, I'm not for spending the $2,500. Let them deal with it.
Well, what Josh is saying is, like, and what they're saying is, if you want to get state money, grant money, because of what it's going to take, like exactly what you're saying, if you're ever going to do it, it's going to cost. Who knows that if you have the study to be able to go along with that, to be able to get the grants, to be able to ever do that.
Yeah,
If you don't have that money, it's probably never going to happen.
Right, and I just don't see, holding out your hand and wishing for a grant, and especially coming from the state, again, we're talking many, many, many years down the road before this is even tackled, but we all know something needs to be done. But if they're already spending $20,000, why wouldn't they just spend the $25,000? That doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah, that was a commitment they asked from us, so.
Yeah.
Todd?
Well, that's what I was going to address also to answer Gail's question. So we pay a fee to belong to SEMCOG. This is their idea. They came to us, and they want us to pay the $2,500, Whiteford $2,500. Their idea, why don't they pay for it if they want to do it? Are you able to answer that or no?
No, I'd have to call them and find out.
So Joe's thing was like, okay, hey, widening the road, adding a turn lane, like that may be pie in the sky, and it may be. But then you also kind of mentioned sidewalks and connectivity and getting grants available for those things, which I don't think that's necessarily pie in the sky. That's much less expensive, but also potentially needed, and something that we have in our master plan that people had mentioned, hey, we want connectivity. And so having a road study could be helpful with getting those grants. I think it could be worth it, the $2,500, to be able to have this study in our back pocket when we do go apply for grants, that the return on investment could be pretty good there. So that's just kind of my thoughts. But I do understand exactly what you guys are saying.
And let's say years down the road, they come up with this grand plan to widen that road. Do they have to go and get easements from everybody on that road, or would they just, because we're not going to put sidewalks in
like
and then widen the road.
Right, no,
that would be ridiculous.
Easements.
You would have to get easements from everybody along that.
Like what's going on with Secor Road, they have to.
That would be.
They widen that.
I can see that being an issue. That's for sure. So, that's all I have.
Further questions, discussion? Trudy?
Question. Could we table this and have them come talk to us about it and explain why they want us to pay part of the money and why they didn't extend it all the way down to Lewis Avenue? If we're going to have a study, we need to study the whole thing, not just a portion.
I can call them and ask them. I don't know if they're underneath the time frame for the money that they're getting, to do this. But we certainly could, and I could call them immediately tomorrow.
Oh.
Did they make a presentation for Whiteford?
Yeah, they had. I was in there, and so was Whiteford. So we were both in there.
They can come in and preach. They're not going to change my mind, but it sounds like, the votes are there to push this forward. I'm a no vote. So, do with that what you will.
I would be fine tabling it, though. Like Trudy said, see if they'll come in and give us a presentation. did Whiteford.
Well, no, you're saying that they did a presentation with you and the supervisor of Whiteford?
Right.
Not the whole board?
No.
We do it pending, approval pending something, Trudy, that extending it, that you're kind of talking about, that if it
I
was.
just figure if this is actually going to get us money and it's for connectivity,
the whole
we
thing.
need it the whole way, not just part.
Yeah.
Do it the whole section if you want to do this.
That's just you go all the way to Telegraph then?
Well, I would want it at least to Lewis, at very least Lewis.
Maybe if we got sidewalks to Telegraph, we can use that dumb crosswalk.
Yeah, we can
You
connect.
know, maybe we can use that. Whoever put that.
Sounds like you're a yes now.
Crosswalk to nowhere.
Exactly.
You gotta connect us.
Stupidity at its best.
Yeah.
You'd probably want to go as far east as Crab Road to capture our industrial land
So you might
or connection
go all
to
the way to
US
Telegraph.
23. We're never going to be able to afford,
No.
the township will never be able to afford to improve Stearns Road. That will have to come from either Act 51 money, which probably will never happen either, or if Governor Whitmer ever gives us money to fix the damn roads, maybe, or from some state grant, but we're not going to be able to afford it. So at some point in time, I think it's a great idea to have them come and make a presentation. Who knows? Maybe they'll change your mind because there might be other financial incentives available. So this saying keeps coming up, you don't know what you don't know, so maybe they could come and show us what we don't know, and that might be beneficial.
Oh, they're going to come and sell us some snake oil, so we can listen to them.
But I know you, Joe, and you'll do your homework. You'll
will.
fact check it.
Will.
You know what, I'll make a motion, and I'll make a motion that we table this until Al can contact them, get us more information, and then just put it back on the schedule whenever works for you.
Are we all, anyone concerned that there might be a time frame on them doing this and that we might?
What I will do is I will call them immediately tomorrow, and then I will inform you all if we have a time frame.
What if it's before the next meeting? How would that work?
Judy?
Special meeting if
Could have a quick special
we really
meeting if
want to
we
go
need to.
forward with it.
I think it's worth it, but I understand waiting and trying to get more information, so I'm okay with what you guys decide.
Is that a support then for the table?
I will support.
Okay. So we have a motion to table? We have second? Any further discussion?
As long as we're open to them coming back and saying, hey, it's before the next meeting, that we're open to jumping on this, because I think it will be worth our investment having that on the table for grants in the future, because like Phil said, we're not going to be able to pay for this out of our own pockets. So as long as we're on board with that.
Okay. Ms. Hirschberger, please take the roll.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Schwiger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. I'll let you all know tomorrow as soon as I hear. So, okay. We have 8F, approve RFID key fob lock for mailroom and employee bathroom access. Those are our key fobs. This is the area that goes back into, we have the two single bathrooms, and then as you walk towards the sheriff's department, you have the other two bathrooms. The problem that we have is that we have people that wander back there, and we do have people, and I've had this question posed to me that, why do you have key fobs on your doors like we're trying to lock out the public? No, we're not trying to lock out the public. We're just trying to keep the people safe in our building, because we get some people that are a little nutty, or they get escalated, they make threats. We've had the clerk's office spit at, we've had our doors spit on, we've had a bomb threat, that wasn't too long ago, that we were informed by the sheriff's department. And that is a kind of like a blind area, because we never really thought we had to really secure that area, but we're finding we have to, because they can get back there, they can hide, whatever. We all read in the news when we have people that are getting attacked in government buildings, they're getting attacked at protests, and so on. We're no different here in Bedford. Somebody can pop up tomorrow, and we don't know. And we have a couple of those people that have come in that I often wonder what's in their head today, because we know them when they start coming in or whatever. We just had one at the public hearing that went storming out of here with anger issues. So that's why we're requesting this. So.
Well, also, Al, it's so we have access to the mailroom, because that one door is the door that you need a key to get into.
Yeah. So that's why we're asking for that. Phil?
This is, I think this is an important risk management issue, and I'll give you an example. Within the last, probably 60 days, maybe even more recent, we had a credible threat here to the township and to some local businesses in the township. And through the efforts, and I was familiar with the individual, a sheriff's officer contacted me. He had an arsenal at his home, and through a court order, all those weapons were removed. He then tried to get those weapons back, and I was in court on behalf of the sheriff's department and took testimony from this individual, and I can tell you it was pretty scary. So a transcript was made, more threats were made. Through the efforts of our sheriff's department, some pretty good detective work by our sheriff's department, we were able to get this gentleman involuntarily committed to ProMedica North for a mental evaluation, and he was kept. And he's now receiving mental health services. This could have been a tragedy. So to me, this is a risk management issue. We have a duty to protect the people who work here and the people who come here to do business. And if there are potential areas of a security breach, we need to shore that up. So that's my opinion on it.
So real quick reference, and I'm fine, because give me that key fob on that door. I would absolutely love that. But as far as the security, and I know we have cameras all around this place, and there's new technology out there with facial recognition. Do we have a camera system that could, let's say John Smith makes threats, and we can upload a picture of John Smith, and if he walks into the building, we get an alert because of facial recognition? The technology is out there. I'm just wondering if that's something we should look at in the future.
We've never explored it, but personally, I don't think it's a bad idea. And Trudy and Krista can probably speak to it because they've been in this building a lot longer than anybody can attest to.
Yeah.
Some of the other ones that have come through.
If I'm correct, Phil, you're in a public place. There's no reasonable expectation of privacy. You come in here, we can capture your likeness or your photo.
Yes, there's no expectation of privacy when you walk in this building. It's a public building to conduct public business.
Yep. So the technology is out there for facial recognition, and you could easily, upload a picture of John Smith, and that way, as soon as he walks in the foyer of the building, you get an alert. Absolutely.
Because right now our alert system is Krista calls, or somebody calls, or somebody says, yeah, they're in the building, or they're upstairs. If they see them on the camera or whatever, but I can look into that.
The system even goes as far that I've seen that you type in John Smith's name, and that camera will follow him throughout the building. If he goes to another camera, that camera automatically picks him up, or if he goes upstairs, so you can actually follow a person just on the facial recognition stuff. So,
because we do have nooks and crannies in this building, so
That the
that's a good idea. I'm gonna call Habitat and see what, because we did update everything, so maybe there's something they can do that isn't too bad.
I think the school security system does that.
a lot of schools are switching to that system where you can do facial recognition.
I'll call Carl too, see what they're spending over at the school.
It's a real shame that we need to do these things, but we need to.
The technology's out there, so we might as well use it. I mean, and we're not reinventing the wheel or anything. So, in a lot of places are going to this. I mean, you go into TSA, you go into any federal building, you go anywhere. It's out there, and there's no stopping it.
Right. We get people coming in and out of this building that sometimes they just stop here to use our restrooms. Believe it or not, they have no business here. They just stop and use the restroom. We don't know who they are, who's coming in. So, any further questions? I need a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the RFID key fob lock for mailroom and employee bathroom access. We would be using our current supplier, Habitat, and the installed cost is $3,142.07. Additional monitoring costs will be $22 per month. And we would pay this out of the security monitoring account, which is 101-265-805.0014.
Okay, do we have a second?
Support.
Joe, any further discussion? Seeing none, please take the roll, Ms. Hirschberger.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. And I'll take the last one, 8G. This is in regards to, I sent everybody a memo, and this is in regards to White Park, and I sent a picture. What's happening, and Todd, you probably know from previous years, this equipment, it's not that the maintenance department has neglected it, it's just things keep happening. And I think several years ago, not the past park board, but the other park board, I think they had Miracle come in and assess the equipment at that time, and they said, okay, you guys need to replace this, this, and this right now. And they did order a bunch of parts. So this one came up. So these things are happening to us. I think, I would like to call Miracle, bring that back to the board, and see what that would cost us to do. However, this repair needs to be made, and this is for parts and installation. So I sent pictures to everyone. Kids could put their hands in there, that kind of thing. Even though when you section things off, people, it's amazing. They'll move stuff. They'll try and get around it. I mean, a couple times at Car Park, we got to keep securing that. So that's what we're doing, but I'm going to get a cost to have our equipment looked at. We don't have the money right now to go drop $600,000-$700,000 on playscapes. So if the study's not too bad, maybe we can head off some stuff before it happens.
So basically with White Park, it's the platform has a hole in it.
Yeah, and the whole platform's got to be repaired. We can't just fix the hole. You know what I mean? The whole thing's got to go. So that's what we're dealing with. Mm-hmm. It's not like, it's a little frustrating though too, because I just can't call like 3 local guys to fix it and say, hey, go ahead and do this. We're kind of locked in, and so it is what it is at this point. So I need to make a motion, or somebody makes a motion to install and fix.
What's the cost, total cost?
Oh, total cost is $4,805.88.
We're using We Build Fund.
Yeah, they're also called
Miracle.
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 Mm-hmm.
Yes.
This is coming out of the park fund.
Correct. And we have some money in there to fix it.
I'll go ahead and make a motion that we approve the repairs to the playscape at White Park, going with We Build Fund or Miracle Company in the amount of $4,805.88, and to come out of the park fund.
Support.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Hirschberger, please take the roll.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. We are on to number 9, comments from the public. Comments limited to 2 minutes for each individual.
Lamar Frederick, 3254 Deer Creek Drive, Lambertville. I watched with amazement your discussion about SEMCOG coming and studying Stearns Road. Not a single one of you brought up what's the road commission doing here. The road belongs to the road commission. Doesn't belong to SEMCOG, doesn't belong to you. Not a single one of you asked about where's the road commission in all this. I'm just surprised.
We can ask about that now, Al. Says we tabled it anyways.
Road committee. Need a road committee. Gail Kane, Temperance. Yeah, it was interesting with the SEMCOG because the comment Mr. Pryor made is that they approached us because they still have money. Okay. Security-wise, Habitat, you're paying them to watch the screen. So if they had a facial rec, that would put them ahead of the ball game because they're the ones we're paying them to watch our screens. Even though everybody in the township hall has one of those screens at their elbow to watch constantly, we're paying them to watch that. So if they did do facial rec, that would help them call out the warning ahead of time. Suburban, Tahoe, whatever. I'm a girl. It has 4 tires. You put gas in it, and it drives around. I'm glad to hear, though, that we could expect to get these cars maybe on the next agenda with big for sale signs on them. And do we have this process within our CIP program for replacement of vehicles? I don't recall that being a topic. And Mr. Gore, I have to go around in order to get in and out of my driveway, and I'm just in downtown Temperance. But I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. They're not going to expand the lanes because they'd have to buy all that. Sidewalks are not a thing. Connecting anybody is not going to be safe. Number one, who's going to do the sidewalks to shovel the snow? What's going to happen is that there'll be another roundabout coming near you soon. Thank you.
Further comments? Seeing none. Mr. Stump?
Fair point by Mr. Frederick. I think that's why we tabled it. We don't have enough information. Hopefully that's something we can look into as well. Economic development, we went from $10,000 a year to $2,000 for this upcoming fiscal year. That is kind of removing ourselves from the Monroe County Business Alliance, looking for an update. Don't need answers right now, but I think it's something that if we're going to go at it alone, then we need to kind of have a plan for our board and what our economic development outlook is for the township if, we're not going to be partnering with anybody. Other than that, I'm good to go. Thank you.
Mr. Bruni?
Everyone have a good night, good weekend. I was at Bedford's graduation on Sunday. Pretty disappointed at this year's seniors. No inflatables. It was very disappointing. Oh, dude, nothing. It was a big letdown. Amateur hour.
There we go.
Other than that, have a good one.
Mr. Gore?
Just everybody enjoy the summer and watch your pets out there, watch your kids, watch everybody hydrate the next couple days. It's going to be hot, humid. Next week it looks the same. And we'll see everybody in a couple weeks. And why didn't you donate inflatables again?
Well, last time I donated, a kid asked for me to do it. So it's not like I just did it. If someone would have asked, I gladly would have done it.
Mr. Montry?
Yeah, I got a couple things. To the board, our next meeting, June 17th, we're going to have a rezoning parcel combination coming from the Planning Commission. That was a 4-3 decision. So just to be aware that that's going to be coming to our next meeting. Then the Veterans 5K run is next Friday, June 13th at 6 p.m. at the Bedford Community Track at the high school. Run the 5K for $30, walk for $20. Veterans and active military are free. You can register up until 5:30 the day of the race, but they would appreciate early signups. Another one for the Veterans Center is Inspired Woodworking Bedford Veterans Golf Outing is Saturday, August 6th, 8 a.m. shotgun start at Giant Oak. $100 includes lunch, steak dinner, foursome yourself, or get paired up. Whole sponsorships for $100 if you want to talk to Pat Mahoney for that.
Agenda set.
Just everybody have a great rest of your week, a nice weekend. That's all I have.
Ms. Hirschberger?
Are you talking about the,
Oh, you want to go ahead and take
Hazard.
it? Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't want to step on your toes.
I don't want to
Okay.
steal your thunder.
Okay.
Go ahead. You beat me to it. No.
So household hazardous waste and secure shredding is Tuesday, June 10th from 4 to 7 p.m. It'll be held at the Indian Creek Park behind the bus garage on Douglas Road. For board members, I was on the website. I'm sure most of you are familiar with this one. The State of Michigan Department of Treasury has unclaimed property. You can go on there and see if there's anything owed to you. So I was on there and I saw that the township had unclaimed property. So after doing a lot of research, submitting a lot of paperwork, I was able to get us $3,687.85 back from unclaimed property.
What was that from?
Multiple things. There were sewer payments that didn't go through. I'm not sure why. There were insurance claims that were held. I'm not sure why. It was multiple of little things, but they all added up to over $3,600.
I think everyone's going to go in and check their unclaimed property sites.
Exactly. State of Michigan, Department of Treasury, unclaimed property.
Well, you just almost paid for White Park.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
That's all I have.
Good job, Trudy. Okay, I got a couple things. Everybody calls on the property on Smith Road. We had our first dangerous building meeting today, so we're in the process with that building. So they have the hearing. We have to get the report back, and then it'll be forwarded on to you, Phil, to take care of that building. Congratulate all our seniors in Bedford and all the kids who are graduating. I'm going to head this off real quick because we're probably going to get calls and so on. There's going to be a protest here on June 14th, which is Flag Day. It's by a group called the Invisible Group. They're going to be protesting Donald Trump. We have checked with Phil. We're calling the sheriff and so on. They are allowed to protest on our front grassy park. They can't do it in the parking lot, but that's where they can do it. It's going to be from 11 to 12:30, and that just so happens to be Flag Day.
Send them down to my shop.
I was just
going
going
to
say, why aren't
party
they?
again.
Why aren't they at the? They're not at the shop.
Dude, I'll have 4 different militias there. It'll be a
Right.
freaking party.
So that's so you know, if you guys get calls or people start calling you or they see something, that's who the group is. So
I would just suggest that we let them have their say for an hour and a half and they'll go away.
Exactly. Exactly. So.
And no one even show up. Just ignore them.
Yep. The manhole in the parking lot, hopefully tomorrow they'll start fixing that. The building is still on track to be finished here, hopefully in June. So that is going well in terms of that. I have nothing further. I will contact SEMCOG tomorrow, let you all know right away what the story is from them, and we'll go from there. Need a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Meeting adjourned.